Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Hey, it is, as you heard in the song, it is a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast, part of the Blue Wire Hustle Network. I am Andrew Pasquini, your co-host, with my co-host, Jason Aponte. Jason Aponte, how are you doing on this lovely Monday afternoon or evening for you?
I'm great. The 49ers are 1-0 on a Monday, and the relationship that I am in with the New York Yankees is totally toxic, and they actually walked off and won a game today. So imagine that. After being down 5-0.
Yeah.
5-0. Yeah. First time all year. Cool. I mean, it's always behooves you to fall behind a team that is at the bottom of the American League by 5 runs before you make your move. So had them right where they wanted them.
All sparked by a Joey Gallo bunt. I don't know if that's true. I just saw he ended the no-hitter with a bunt.
That's how you do it.
My favorite baseball team, if they win tonight, they clinch a playoff spot. So that's cool.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. They were advertising the tickets were still available in case you're wondering how excited Giants fans are right now.
I love that stadium.
I love that. Oh, it's a perfect stadium, Jason.
So
Aponte.
Beautiful.
Just all the views, all the sights. We're not here to talk about Oracle Park. We're here to talk about the happenings at Ford Field. And listen, Jason, we didn't really talk before the show. I'm going to tell you how I feel right now about this.
Go for it.
I'm not here to dwell on the final 2 minutes of that game. I am here to talk about the good things that happened in the first, we'll call it 56, because the first play of the season was a little weird. We'll get into that. I don't want to dwell on the last 2 minutes of that game because, yes, I understand how, but obviously if they lose, we're talking about the last 2 minutes of that game. But the 49ers are currently tied with 16 other teams for the best record in the NFL. Barring a tie tonight, there will be another team that's 1-0. They're tied with a bunch of other teams for the best record in football. I don't see any negatives right now. That's how I want to view this because I went on Twitter and obviously we're going to touch on the injury stuff. The injury stuff obviously sucks. We understand that. But outside of just the conversation on the injury stuff, it really felt the conversation on Twitter today was the Niners lost that game and Dan Campbell bit their kneecaps and it really sucked. But no, the Niners won. They're 1-0. We're here to be positive. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's how I'm going to go into it, Jason Aponte.
Well, I think that a lot of 49er fans, which I warned all of you about, maybe I didn't get to my result in the correct way, but I warned you to stop acting like this game was going to be some sort of blowout. And somehow, even though I was technically wrong for 54 minutes, it ended up being a nail biter. I told you to don't get tied into it's week 1. If there's ever going to be a week where some crazy stuff is going to happen, it's going to happen in week 1. So that was my point. Everybody, I don't even know how they're going to score 27 points. They scored 33. They scored 33. It doesn't matter how they got it. When they got it, they got it. And they forced the 49ers into a situation where things got hairy. So I process off, result correct. I'm a big process over results guy, but when the result goes my way, I'm going to take the victory lap on that one. I told you it was going to be close, and it was. Imagine
cutting tape of our prediction show of me saying 42-17 was the final score when it was 41-17. Couldn't be. I would never do that. I wasn't right on that at all. So things obviously got a little hairy. Let's talk about the game itself. The Niners win 41-33. It was 41-17 in the last couple minutes of the game. Things got weird. But let's start when it was 0-0. The 49ers get on the board first as everybody had it planned out. The first touchdown of the season was Trey Lance to Trent Sherfield. That's how we all knew it was going to happen. 49ers jump out to an early 7-0 lead. The Lions go on a 13-play, 82-yard drive. They tie it up 7-7. Niners answer that with a very quick scoring drive, a 38-yard touchdown run by Elijah Mitchell, 14-7. Austin Seibert hits a 49-yard field goal. The 49ers up 14-10, and this is where the Niners really turned it on. 7-play, 75-yard drive. Jermichael Hasty caps it off with a 3-yard touchdown run, 21-10. Dee Ford, a pressure in the year 2021. Things you love to see. Leads to a Dre Greenlaw pick six. The Niners go up 28-10. Robbie Gold then hits a 40-yard field goal at the end of the half to go up 30.
Wait. But did he miss one from 50?
We'll talk about that in a minute because I have thoughts on that.
Okay.
31-10 at halftime. Then Jimmy Garoppolo, an absolute strike to Deebo Samuel for 79 yards. The Niners go up 30.
An absolute strike is how they described it on the telecast. Shout out to Mark Sanchez, actually, too. I wanted to tell you, before we were, he's all right. He's all right. Come on, Andrew. What's wrong with Mark Sanchez?
On the Deebo fumble, and I need to rewatch this because maybe I misheard it. But he was talking about how Garoppolo should have taken a sack to prevent the fumble, which they had a first down, for God's sake. He made the right play. Deebo just fumbled. Honestly, I'm not even going to say Deebo just fumbled it. The defender who knocked it out, I believe it was Trey Flowers. Maybe I could be way wrong on that. I don't know who knocked it out. Made a good play. Like, he made the play you want your defender to make in that situation. He just punched it out. Deebo got the first out. Things happen. We tend to focus on the negative. I'm going to focus on the positive. The Lions defender made a great play. The Niners go up 38-10. DeAndre Swift then catches a 43-yard touchdown pass from Jared Goff, 38-17. Robbie Gould at the start of the fourth quarter hits a 52-yard field goal to go up 41-17, and we are feeling good. This game isn't going to be stressful at all, is it, Jason? With 1:53 to go, Jamal Williams 1-yard touchdown run. Jared Goff hits Hawkinson for the 2-point conversion. It's a 16-point game. We're still feeling good. Onside kick takes a little bit of a weird hop. I don't know what George Kittle was supposed to do because, he was there.
I'm not blaming him for that.
Tough battle. I saw a lot of people blaming him for it. I don't want to blame him for it because that's tough. That's the play at short where, like, if you're there, it takes that last second hop and it just kind of changes trajectory. I don't know how you could blame Kittle on it. We're going to go positive zone. That was just a good onside kick by the kicker. Lions go down. They score a touchdown 41-33. Deebo Samuel has the fumble. The Niners defense holds. There is your final score, 41-33. A roundabout way to get to it, but the 49ers win 41-33. And I just want to start by saying, I guess that's what Dan Campbell meant by biting kneecaps, is they were never going to be out of games. They were always going to push as hard as they can, and I think that's what he meant.
Yeah. A lot to unpack here in this game. This was one of the weirdest games I've ever watched. Ever in terms of 49ers or anything like that. Again, week one is so unpredictable, which is why I, threw caution out there about, man, don't start thinking about, and my narrative that I was trying to push on Twitter, Andrew, after that first fumble was kind of looking good there in the beginning, right? Oh, look, they're not sharp again. Like, it was literally, I believe Kyle Shanahan in his press conference said 51% of the blame goes to Alex Mack, 49 goes to Jimmy Garoppolo. At that point, why isn't it just 50-50? I don't know what you were trying to do there with that one. Yes, concerns. The Lions ran the ball pretty well. And when the score got out of hand, you have to stop running the ball. So that's something to monitor, right? And that doesn't mean that anything's set in stone. It is week one. That just could be an outlier. So that's no reason to panic. These are just observations of the game. In no way should you be predicting how the season's going to go based on this week one game. Week one is the craziest. Yeah. Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdowns.
We all knew that was stop it. We all knew that was going to happen.
With how many yards?
148.
That's ridiculous. If Jimmy Garoppolo did that, they would be like taking him to the shed for that. Like, absolutely. But week one is just like that. It's just very, very different. I think that what I was disappointed with is my thing about the small things, the little things, right? Obviously, after Jason Verrett goes down, the air kind of went out of the game after that. You could see the entire, energy of the team get sucked out because they all felt what we all felt, which was hurt for Jason Verrett. And, to watch him be so emotional, when it's a non-contact injury and they grab their knee, I'm not a doctor. 99 times out of 100, that's usually a torn ACL. And when you watched him walk away, he started crying again. And I was hurting for him. I was. Something was going on. The entire team was cramped. Jimmy Ward had to leave with cramps. Al-Shaair had to leave with cramps. DFF had to leave with cramps. I don't know what that has to do with anything. But again, I'm more willing to chalk this up to a week one game. That is week one. I don't think that the Lions will ever be in a game like that again, where they're literally neck and neck at the end of the game. So week one isn't a way to point to how the
No.
season's going. It's not. It's week one. It's so weird. Things are weird. That's it. It's week one, and that's the one that is always the most unpredictable. But at the end of the day, the 49ers are 1-0, just like everybody else in the NFC West. That's something that we could talk about, later on down the line. But in terms of this game, what you need to know is the 49ers ended the game with more points than the Lions. They have a win, and they are tied for first. We move on to Philly. We'll get into that later on. But, I don't want to be too negative because there are things that I didn't like in this game at all. But Dee Ford is incredible. What were the numbers? 10 pass rushes, 6 pressures, 7
like
pressures. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You can't even extrapolate that over 30 and say that he would have that many. But 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, seeing Dee Ford, like, you get excited about the interception, right? The Niners get a pick 6, right? That's always going to be exciting. And then you watch the replay and you see 55 is the one creating a pressure to force a bad throw. And I yelled Dee Ford when I saw that replay because, you when you're watching the game live, you watch the ball, you don't really see what's going on. If only there was a way to see on the internet an angle of all the players at one time. I think that would be cool if the NFL could like make something like that available to the public for a price of $100 a season. I don't know if something like that could exist. But you watch the replay and Dee Ford is the one creating the pressure. It gets you a little more excited because we've wanted Dee Ford. Dee Ford is the guy we've wanted healthy, and to see him week one make an impact on a play, and I believe the very next snap, he created a pressure that forced a holding. He blew by the right tackle, and he was gonna get by it if he wasn't held. So back-to-back snaps, insane from Dee Ford,
and he caused the pick 6.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just again, there's plenty of things to be happy about. If you cut this game down, that's why it's a 60-minute game. If you cut it down to 55 minutes, this is pretty much exactly what you would have wanted from the 49ers, which was an easy win with minimal injuries. But it seemed like at that 6-minute mark, everything just went to hell really fast. And, I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that. It's just, this is what happened in the game. Again, not blaming George Kittle for that because that was a weird bounce on that. I saw something out there about Jimmy Garoppolo has to hit that throw. Come on, man. Dude, you know what? I'm going to take everyone else's stance on this and say it's the Lions. Yeah. You have to put them away. Don't let them sit around in the game and don't let them come back like that on you. If you're the team that we think you are, choke them off. Yeah. And that little comeback. Stop it. So don't, that's not going to be the quarterback right there, right? So I think DeMeco Ryan learned a little something about, never taking your foot off the gas pedal. I think this team learned something about that, about never relaxing, right? That game was a laugher. I think even Jimmy Garoppolo said something to the effect after the press conference. We relaxed. We learned a lesson. Good. Get it out of the way in week 1. Week 2, we got some other things that we need to talk about. I have concerns. This is not as easy. And if that game wasn't an easy game, I don't know if this Philly game is going to be as easy, regardless of the discrepancy in the rosters. But the 49ers are 1-0.
And we'll talk about the Eagles on Friday. That's a Friday conversation. I feel boy, the Eagles, I feel a little different about the Eagles after week 1. I know they played the Falcons, but at the same time, the Niners played the Lions, and the Eagles looked better against the Falcons than the Niners looked against the Lions. And then that opened some eyes. And of course, obviously we're gonna try and strike fear into you about the Eagles on Friday, and the Niners will win that game by 4 touchdowns. Watch. But I want to talk about the first play of the season. Okay. The first offensive play of the season. It's funny. A whole off season of having this conversation of the quarterback position. Who should be the quarterback? The first play of the season, Jimmy Garoppolo fumbles the snap. Alex Mack has a bad snap. However you want to see it in your glasses, your eyes, because whatever narrative you have is going to be what you want it to be. That's one of those plays where I think that's okay because there's never really any blame on bad snaps. Boy, how funny was it though? And obviously it wouldn't have been funny if the Lions go down and score a touchdown. But the Lions missed the field goal, and it was almost like nothing happened. Nothing happened. And I want to lean into the first really positive part of this game is after the first play fumble, the Niners' next drives go touchdown, 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 field goal, missed field goal, touchdown, punt. So they go 6 consecutive drives of getting down in positions where you can score. And the missed field goal, I'm not an NFL coach. I'm never going to pretend like I'm one. But
Are you sure?
Are
you sure you weren't the Are you sure you weren't the coach of the Lions before?
Oh, maybe I am, Matt Patricia. You don't know. Listen, if I'm an NFL head coach and I watch my kicker go out there and he takes his warm-up kick and instantly slips, I'm calling timeout. I'm rushing the offense. I'm like, we're not even going to mess with this. And it didn't really hurt though, because the Lions did punt on the next drive. But man, that's a funny visual.
Big moment right there for the cut all kickers narrative that I'm trying to put out there. Like that was it. That was a big time. That was big time for that. That's big for the brand right there. That was for the brand. That one right there. I mean, whatever. I don't want to talk about kickers. Who cares? Look, let's talk about really good things. Okay.
Yes, I have one.
Jaquiski Tartt played really well.
Yes.
Eric Armstead played well. This offensive line, I don't care who is on the other side. This offensive line played their ass off in this game. And they gave Jimmy Garoppolo clean pockets to throw from. And also, credit to Jimmy Garoppolo, his pocket presence in this game, avoiding sacks, moving in the pocket. These are all good things. These are all good things that happen in this game. Again, you have to look at the competition on the other side, and, everything needs its context. But at the same time, the offensive line looked really good. You didn't hear Mike McGlinchey's name at all, which is a great thing. It's an amazing thing. Never want to hear a lineman's name called. Offensive line held up. Elijah Mitchell's a baller. And that's what we learned too, man. Yeah. Running physically. And I tweeted it out earlier today. He faced on 36% of his rushes an 8-man box. 8 and above. 36%. 36%. That's almost 40, which means that's pretty much a large share of his rushes. And he still ended up with what he ended up with. This offensive line, Elijah Mitchell, amazing game. That's what Raheem Mostert would have done. I'm sorry to hear about his injury too as well. And anybody who said anything bad to him or sent him any messages, grow up. Grow up. Absolutely grow up. Like, please, guys, I understand passion for the team. I don't understand that. That is way over the top. And I don't care who it is. That is not cool at all, man. You guys that's over the top. Passion's one thing, over the top. Can't deal with that. But that's what they wanted to do with Raheem Mostert. It's a little weird that we heard before the game started, healthy scratch Trey Sermon. Don't know why. I mean, for Kyle Shanahan to say, see, here's the part that doesn't jive with me, Andrew. Mitchell and Hasty passed him in camp. But I was at camp. And Trey Sermon was running with the ones. Yeah. And Jermichael Hasty wasn't getting many reps. He dropped a lot of passes. He fumbled the ball a few times. And Elijah Mitchell was catching passes out of backfield. Unless I missed something, I don't know exactly where either of these two passed up Trey Sermon. Again, if I wasn't there, I wouldn't have this strong of an opinion. But I was there. And he was actually the one running with the ones. Weird. Did he fall into that Shanahan doghouse that you don't get out of? What did he do?
Yeah, I really don't know. In the same, I think the other one that people are talking a lot, and I think there's more clearer of an answer, is Brandon Ayuk. I believe his only touch of the game was the punt return. I don't know what happened there. It sounds like he's still dealing with an injury, but that seemed to be a big conversation today, whether or not Ayuk was in the imaginary doghouse. I don't think he is. I don't even think Sermon is yet. I think we'll see Sermon next week. We're almost going to have to see Sermon next week at this point, just with Mostert's injury.
That's what he said today in the press conference. He said those exact words. Obviously, he'll be active.
So maybe it's just something where it's he's a rookie. Maybe something happened the week before the game. I don't know, and maybe Shanahan just trying to send a message. I don't know what happened, and I'm not here to speculate on that. If we're talking about the good things, though, because we kind of teetered into the negatives a little bit there, Jimmy Garoppolo had a very good game. And I think that needs to be said. Very good might be a little too nice. I think he had a good game. And I saw people out there trying to say he didn't, which I think that's just people out there pushing whatever narrative they want to have, which, hey, you do you. And I know we're memeing the throw, the strike because of a tweet. But I want to talk about the front end of that play. He stepped into 2 Lions defensive linemen closing in on him. And I can say this and not be wrong, and you guys can interpret it however you want. He technically put the ball in the place where only his receiver could get it. I'm not going to try and sit here and say it was a good throw because I don't think it was, but that's not an easy throw to have, especially with the pressure he had in his face. And that's something we haven't seen from Garoppolo, is him stepping into throws like that and at least them being completed. And Jason, I want to say it. I wish I had like a noise, a sound maker where I could have the do come off. No throws. He had no throws.
No. He had 2.
He had 2. Which ones?
There was a dropped interception.
Was there? Did I miss one?
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
Jason,
I mean, look.
one?
It didn't end up being an interception, but yeah, Jimmy has 2 of them.
Okay.
We'll go over it again.
Then I'll say 2. But hey, you know what? Jason? I don't know where I'm going with it anymore because he had 2 in your book. It's just like pressures. It's a very objective thing, apparently.
Are we doing that?
No, I'm joking. But I thought he had a pretty good game. He looks good in the pocket. He's looking like he can move a little bit. It's almost like his legs are there where they need to be. He just looked good. And I understand people's excitement to start Trey Lance. I understand it. You have the 3rd pick in the draft, and the Niners traded up to get him. I understand the excitement, but there's still this isn't an Andy Dalton, Justin Fields thing. This isn't and nothing against Andy Dalton. He was very good 5 years ago, but he hasn't done really anything in the league to show he deserves that spot over Justin Fields, where the only reason you could say to start Trey Lance over Garoppolo is the healthy.
That's a Freudian slip.
Yeah, actually, my bad. My preference wasn't drafted by my favorite team.
There you go.
The last time we saw Jimmy Garoppolo healthy on a football field, the Niners were a Super Bowl team. Like, I understand the excitement, but this is like, let's just be honest. This is Jimmy Garoppolo's job to lose. And if we're just going to rate the games on, did Jimmy Garoppolo do anything to lose his job? No. I think week 1, it's a firm no. And I think if you say Garoppolo had anything less than a good game, I think you're gonna you're kind of showing your opinions a little bit. And right. Newbie has a good point. And it wasn't even the boneheaded play, but yeah, he got the turnover out of the way early.
Maybe do that every first play.
Yeah, maybe that might be the new thing. It's just first play of the game, fumble the snap, let the other team get it. But I thought Jimmy Garoppolo looked fine, and I don't know. I think the reason I'm going so long on it is I don't think he makes my top 3 stars of the game. But I do want to talk about it because it is something like we spent 6 months talking about the quarterback position, so we're gonna dissect it a little tighter than a lot of the other positions. I felt really good about what I saw to Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday.
Yeah, and again, we anyone who can see, right, this offense, and when it's upright and it's got all its weapons, is a baseline competency, right? And that's something that Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, none of those guys give you week to week. That Jimmy Garoppolo does give you week to week. And he played fine in this game. Absolutely. 100%. No reason for anybody who was on the other side of like, hey, I want Trey to start, for you to start jumping out the window. This isn't the game to use that for. No. It's really not. It really isn't. Like, no matter what, you can pick apart and nitpick. Okay, completion, but where was the ball thrown? Fine, whatever. At the end of the day, this team was winning 41-17, right? Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't playing defense. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't, it didn't get injured and they had people like in and out for him. So listen, regardless of your bias, opinion, whatever it is, you have to be objective in the idea that when Jimmy Garoppolo is on the field and everything is going well with this team and the defense is rolling like it was, this team can win games. And I don't think that we've ever wavered on that. And I don't think that there ever should be a discussion around that. There just shouldn't. That's not us towing the line. That's not us playing the fence. These are cold heart truths. That's it. This is it right here in front of you. And you know what? Obviously, Trey Lance opens up the offense for a little bit more. Unfortunately, they had him running right into brick walls a few times. I didn't understand those play calls and things like that because that was always my fear, Andrew, about when Taysom Hill's on the field, 99% of the chance is going to be a run. And for a little while, it kind of looked like that with Trey Lance, even though we know that Trey Lance is not Taysom Hill. But it got predictable. They loaded up. And if you see Trey Lance run on the field at this point, aside from the touchdown pass, which actually was a product of his running ability
Mhm.
because it sucked the defense in, and Trent Sherfield was allowed to work on the outside, and he got the ball out perfectly. Nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, you have to understand that Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter right now. Who knows how long that will be, but when he's in there and this team is upright and has all his pieces on defense and on offense, he can operate this offense with a level of efficiency that and competency that the 49ers didn't have when Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard was in there. And he didn't do anything really wrong in this game. I promise you.
Yeah, and last thing I'm going to say on the quarterback, because there's a name we haven't said yet that I think should have been mentioned in the first 25 minutes, is I think Shanahan is still trying to figure out the proper flow of when to bring Lance in and what situations to bring. Because you got to realize this is only the second game they've tried this. They only did it in the first preseason game. And I think it'll improve as the season goes on. Because like I watched the Sunday night game last night, and Matt Nagy tried to do the same thing with Fields and Dalton, and it really felt like there was no rhyme or reason. At least there was situations where, like, okay, they're within the 5-yard line. It's a 3rd and short. It's a 4th and short situation. It felt like there was consistency with what Shanahan was trying to do. Now it's finding out. I think Shanahan is probably putting this in pieces, and this is my thought. This is Andrew's opinion corner. I think he's trying to find out the proper flow before he figures out the way he wants to run it. So, yeah, it was a little predictable yesterday. He only had the one throw. But I think Shanahan's trying to figure out the proper situations to bring Lance in and then just go from there. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, if one of your quarterbacks on your team doesn't have 100% completion percentage, couldn't be me.
Couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us. Not Trey Lance, not Justin Fields. Just saying. 100%. 100%.
Do you want to know what name we haven't said yet that I feel like it's kind of an embarrassment on the Sprint Right Option podcast for not saying?
Oh, he doesn't play for us anymore. We're pro Kerry Hyder.
No.
How did Kerry Hyder do this week?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch. No, he plays for the Niners. We haven't said the name Deebo Samuel yet.
Man.
9 receptions, 189 yards, 1 touchdown, 12 targets. Go ahead, Jason.
Let me go first. I'm sorry, Deebo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I ever downplayed your contributions, what you can do, any of those things. That's a bad take of mine. I take it all the way back. I'm absolutely wrong, and I deserve any sort of slander that I've ever said about Deebo Samuel. What happened in camp with Deebo Samuel was he was the best receiver on the field. Every single day that he was up. The man heard everything that people like myself were saying about him, about, hey, you're overvaluing his importance. He won routes down the field. He won routes really quickly with the tunnel screen. He won on those reverses. Deebo Samuel looks like a completely different player this year. I wholeheartedly apologize, Deebo. And you were the best player on the field yesterday. You were. Absolutely. No questions asked. And that is really good. It's really, really good. So I believe that it was Deebo Samuel and George Kittle who actually finished with the most yards after catch per reception, second and third this week, with only Rondale Moore ahead of them. What can you say about Deebo Samuel in this game? I mean, he is an absolute dog. That run to the after the catch on that pass where he even admitted wasn't a great ball, but it's up to us to make quarterbacks look good. That's it, Deebo. Like, I love everything that he's done. Came in shape. He wanted to shut everybody up. He's shutting me up, and I'm very happy to eat crow on this one. Deebo Samuel. Spoiler alert. My 1 star, my highest star. Like, I'm just letting you know. I'm taking
there you go.
Yeah, I'm taking it right now.
There you go. And obviously the fumble is what it is. As I said, I think that's a better play by the defender than it is a bad play by Deebo, because he caught the ball, he turned upfield, and he got the first down. He won the game for the Niners up until the point the ball was knocked out. So he looked like something else. And who is it? Is it Vish? Vish is the one who's saying it, that he might not
that's his champion. That's his guy. Vish
that he might not be the best player on the offense, because the Niners have a lot of talent. Like, you got to take Kittle, you got to take Trent Williams, you got to take guys like that above Deebo Samuel, but he might be the most important, because he really opens up the field. and people want to say he's a running back, whatever you want to say, but I think that's what makes him special, is because you don't know how the Niners are going to use him. He could beat you in so many different ways that you don't know how he's going to beat you. So
Tony's not lying about this either, though. Here's a comment. Tony's not lying about this.
Yeah.
When people asked, on the stream, I had to say it. Deebo Samuel is important, and they were going to go to him, and they were going to feed him. And if you play Deebo over Ayuk, you are definitely happy. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's good to see that out of Deebo Samuel, especially him coming off the injury season last year. It just makes you feel comfortable that even in a game where Brandon Ayuk is literally non-existent, the Niners still have Deebo to lean on. And if we can ever get a world where those two are on the field at the same time, because it seems like the universe doesn't want that to happen, it is what it is. And Red Eye, sure, he could be a running back who catches. Sure, if you want that to be your opinion, that's okay. But that's what makes him special, is you don't know how the Niners are going to use him. You don't, because
he was winning routes downfield, though.
He looked, yeah. He I don't know what Niner game you watched, but go look at the route tree he ran yesterday and tell me how many of those were running back routes.
And that's free for you to look up too. You can go on NFL.com and look up Next Gen Stats so you can see his route tree, and you can see that it wasn't anything close to the line. Like he had a few of those like that, but it was not like it was everything was tunnel screens. At least not this week. No.
And if we want to use that, then sure, go ahead. But that's what makes him valuable, because you don't know how teams are going to use him. So it is what it is. You want to call him that's your prerogative. Do what you want to do. I mean, you probably call Lamar Jackson a running back as well. It is what it is. That's what you want your opinion. It's okay. It is what it is. And sure, okay, I don't mean to pick on Red Eye here, but good coaches play to what his quarterbacks do. Good coaches play to what his quarterbacks do. It is what it is. So yeah, I was very happy with Deebo Samuel. I'll spoil alert too. He's my second star.
There you go.
Because I think we should use this to push other names as well. And you'll see who my number one star is. Nick Bosa had a sack. That's a name we haven't said as well. He had a sack.
Do you want to talk about him against Penei Sewell? Because I felt like that was electric. That was an electric matchup. So, and you know what's funny? Because when we were talking about it, right, and before the game, and about Penei Sewell, he struggled in preseason. He'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
He will be fine. That kid is on his way. He will be fine, and he played very well yesterday. I was super impressed with him yesterday.
It's weird. It's almost like if you play a player at a position they played in college, they're better than what they are. And it's one of those things that, like, they both Sewell and Bosa had good games. And I don't think you could say anybody lost that matchup. Like, and weird as it sounds, neither of them did. Both of them did their job. Bosa got a win. Penei Sewell got a bunch of wins. Like what else can you say? That's just good football. And I was I'm very biased towards Sewell, as I said on this podcast, that he was my favorite draft prospect. So to be watching him closer, he looked good. And now it's at a point where if you're Dan Campbell, you probably have to keep him at left tackle. Obviously, we need to see more. This is one game, but
Decker's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, if your first game is against Nick Bosa and you hold him like you did, there's something there. Like that doesn't just. It's not a Daniel Brunskill getting help from double teaming Aaron Donald and shutting him down. This was Sewell was with Bosa all game.
On the island.
So Harvey, yeah, thank you. Contavious Street, his first sack of his career. Thank you. I want that's the thing, man. I want to talk about the positives in this game, because I feel like there's been so much focus on the last 2 minutes. I'll just say names and positives that you guys list. Contavious Street had his first career sack. That's so good to see, and it goes to show the depth on this defensive line. Seeing him get that first sack, it feels good. It feels good to see players like that succeed, and that's what it was.
Yeah. Again, Elijah Mitchell, man, he impressed the hell out of me, right? Mm-hmm. It's less about the speed, right? Because I don't want to say glossed over the evaluation, but I automatically assumed that with Raheem Mostert being in his contract year, that this is your Raheem Mostert fill-in. And I think that was downplaying Raheem Mostert in terms of his gap recognition, his one cut into the hole, and how good he is at that. But what I was impressed with Mitchell is you see the speed, but he ran hard. Every single first tackle, it seemed like he slid right out of those. I've got to check his broken tackle, whatever, however they attributed it. But I feel like it was like 4 and up. It almost felt like no one could actually, like, almost he was in Greece. And, like, the people were just trying to tackle him and just sliding out. The kid ran physical. He looked great. And for a guy who didn't play much in the preseason or in camp, for him to come out in week one, regardless of the opponent, for him to come out that way and to perform that well, my goodness, man. Did the 49ers just get something at the end of that draft? And he's going to be a hot commodity on the fantasy football waiver wire, which I don't know if I want to preach that because Trey Sermon is lurking. And it would not shock me if Trey Sermon came out and took the first snap in week two.
Exo Goyard, you literally like typed Lenore as I was typing his name into Twitter because there was a tweet that I wanted to mention, and Diamonor Lenore had a very good game.
Yep.
He
90 snaps.
Played the most snaps 90 of any defensive player in the NFL yesterday, allowed just one catch on 3 targets for 3 yards. He had a very good game. And we talked about the cornerback depth, and unfortunately we're going to have to open that Pandora's box way earlier. I mean, we didn't even want to open it at any point this year, but we're going to have to open it. Hopefully Mosley can play come Sunday against the Eagles. But Diamador Lenore has done nothing but make me feel more confident about the defensive backfield. Obviously, there's still more questions beyond him, but unfortunately, we have to scratch Jason Verrett out of the equation, and I hate it. I don't like. I don't want to talk about it because it's something that
just sucks.
It sucks. Yeah. But Diamador Lenore and Emmanuel Mosley, if both of them can stay healthy, Diamador Lenore has done nothing but make me feel good about that situation. And I wish we didn't have to have this conversation this early because of what happened to Verrett, because Jason Verrett, I jokingly said last year, Santa Rosa Junior College is DBU because of him. I'm from Santa Rosa. He played in that area, so I'm always going to like him. And to see a player react like that it sucks. And I don't want to talk about it, but we have to, because it's part of what the season's going to be now. The Niners aren't just missing a very good player. They're missing just a great teammate, because everybody loves him. Everybody seems to love him. He seems to be a guy that people want to have on the team. And there's a reason the Niners brought him in and took a chance knowing that he's had that injury history. And he comes out, he balls out in 2020, and if he stays healthy, he's one of the better cornerbacks in the league. And it just sucks, and injuries happen, but Diamador Lenore, I'll just go back to my original point. He makes you feel better about the defensive backfield. And that's all you could ask for from a player. I believe he was a 5th round pick. The draft feels so long ago. Was he a 5th round pick, Jason? Please say yes.
There. He was there, 5th round. Mm-hmm.
So he makes you feel better about what the defensive backfield is now. And I know Dre Kirkpatrick is on his way. And Jason, if you want to say words on him, because I saw somebody mention they want to know about Kirkpatrick. If maybe near the end here we could touch on that.
Yep.
But yeah, Diamador Lenore, very good game.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And also, I have to eat some more crow, because I thought it was going to be Dante Johnson, especially when he was elevated from the practice squad. I was like, oh my goodness, here it is. But Lenore played well, and for a guy in his first game, regardless of who's on the other side, he played well. And you could see the difference, right? So Lenore played the entire game, 90 snaps. When Jason Verrett went out of the game, they weren't targeting Lenore. Mm-hmm. They were targeting Dante Johnson on the other side. And they went to him, Quintez Cephas, all those guys, every single time. Lenore played very well, and he makes me feel better about this. Most likely, your ideal pairing at this point is going to be Emmanuel Mosley when he's upright, and Demo with Josh Norman right behind them, just in case either of those guys slip. And again, I'll save it for the Philly preview. We'll talk about it then, and I'll talk about, how that pertains to week 2. But in terms of going forward, Richard Sherman is a possibility. You heard Kyle Shanahan talk about it. He's been in camp. If I am not mistaken, I believe that he was in West Virginia, where the 49ers are staying in between, and he left without a deal. And we'll see. I believe that it was also someone else tweeted saying that it'll be later in the season, something like that. Mm-hmm. So we'll see about that going forward. But as of right now, Lenore, Norman, and Mosley with this pass rush should be fun. Especially with how good this pass rush is.
Yeah, and Samson Ebukam, he had a few, he wasn't on the field as much, but I saw the way they used him with Bosa and
the stunts they ran. It was all that exotic stuff that they were showing in camp. They ran a bunch of stunts, and it got to the quarterback, especially on that last one. That's what closed the game out. It was a great stunt, and Ebukam had a free run. So it was, again, we talked about this. DeMeco Ryans is going to have his hiccups, and he's going to have his learning curve, and that should be expected. It's his first game as an actual defensive coordinator. Couldn't have been a better opponent, but at the same time, he's going to take his lumps. He's going to start to learn things, and we're going to see where he's at in week 2 because Philly has one thing that has been the 49ers kryptonite, a mobile quarterback. So we're going to see. We're going to see where it's at because Robert Saleh had trouble stopping that. Let's see what he has cooked up for it. But at the same time, you had to expect that DeMeco Ryans was going to take a little bit of, his first time, not understanding, everything right away. So we'll see, again with that. But overall, yeah, Lenore and Mosley, those got to be your 2 guys. And if not, then I have a feeling it's going to be Lenore and Josh Norman next week against the Eagles because Josh Norman wasn't playing because he was hurt. He wasn't playing because he wasn't up to speed. And they trust who they trust. So
I cannot wait for the inevitable of just like Josh Norman returning to some sort of form. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's all pro Josh Norman. He's back. I'm not going to do that. I can't, like, it just almost feels inevitable. It just feels to me based off of nothing. Like I'm just saying a gut feeling. I don't know. I feel like Josh Norman might show out a little bit here. And I don't know what it is. Part of it might be the pass rush. I think that's what it is because we can't talk about because where did he go after Washington? Buffalo, right? He went to Buffalo, and that's where he kind of fell off. Buffalo wasn't what they were now. Like they weren't the Josh Allen AFC favorite team. They were the Buffalo Bills we've kind of grown to know. And so I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me being put my Niner hat on and feeling good that whoever's wearing the red and gold, they're pretty good. Call me Cynthia because Cynthia's the best, and I love her. I feel good. I feel good about Josh Norman on the Niners for whatever reason, whatever it may be. Jason, do you have any thoughts? Because I have one final thought I want to get to before we dive into 3 stars.
No, I want to make sure Azeez Al-Shaair might have been the best defensive player on the field yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's not hyperbole. That's not me hot taking. He was balling out. And considering a guy who had limited time during camp while we were there, he got injured pretty quickly. He looked really good. He really did. So that should be good for the linebacker depth. Fred is Fred. We're not talking about, him overtaking that, but that definitely helps. It does. Deebo Samuel, Trent Sherfield continues. George Kittle's really good at football also. When you get him the ball, Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, all good things. Jaquiski Tart. I saw people talking about, where are the turnovers, him and Jimmy Ward. I saw many times that Jared Goff had to check down because Tart and Ward were locking up the up top quadrant. And, that's, again, we don't have to beat the drum, any further, but those were all good players. Demo, all great players in that game. And sure, you can be negative. You can focus on how the game unraveled towards the end. Or you can say for a large portion of this game, the 49ers were dominant. And they were able to walk away with a win. And right now, wins are going to be very necessary. I don't want to overreact to week 1. Arizona looked incredible yesterday. And this is from the biggest Arizona Cardinals non-believer in the world, as long as Cliff Kingsbury is there. So they look great. Seattle looks like Seattle. They're going to be in the playoffs as long as Russell Wilson is alive, breathing, and throwing footballs. They are going to be there. And Matthew Stafford yesterday, oh my God, did you see that throw on the post play? It's the same exact play to Trent Sherfield. It's out of the McVay-Shanahan playbook. He literally hit that thing. And he hit it over 2 people. It wasn't a wide open guy. That's the type of things that he can do. So the NFC West is stacked. And the 49ers are going to have to win a lot of games. A lot of games. This is the best division in football. So wins are wins. Yeah. I don't care how you get them. Just when the time runs out, have more points than the other team. That's all I'm going to say. Figure out a way to get it done. Good teams win games, and good teams know how to win games even when the things aren't perfect. And that's what a good team does.
Mm-hmm. And Scott Broyles has a point. Is 3 sacks on 60 dropbacks when the Detroit was missing their left tackle. Good. The Lions probably.
The Lions have a good offensive line. That's the one thing. That's the best thing they have about them. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I would make a counterpoint. They weren't missing their left tackle. Their left tackle was there. Penei Sewell. I understand that they had a starting left tackle planned out, but I think Penei Sewell's their best left tackle on that roster. It is what it is. No. I wouldn't lose too much sleep about the Niners only getting 3 sacks. I would say the Lions offensive line is just really good. It's probably their best position group on that team. And I would argue it's up there near the top. I know I'm waiting for Don Burr because I just want to say nice things. Like that was a fun game.
And I don't want to be a jerk towards him or anything like that. I've just enjoyed his presence and I'm upset. He didn't pull up to the post-game live show. He's not pulling up now. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
I felt like I made it very obvious that I enjoyed him and I wasn't going to rub anything in his face. It's week 1 of the season, man.
They scored 33 points. He should feel great.
I will say, I think the last 2 minutes of the game, and this is me trying to make sense of it, it shows you where these two franchises are at right now. The Niners are supposed to be a playoff team, right? If everything goes right, if the season goes right, the Niners are a playoff team. So when they are up 41-17, they probably feel like they can take their foot off the gas, which probably, listen, you can't do, right. This is the NFL. It is what it is. But you have to admit that it happens. It happens. And the Niners did dominate that game for 3 quarters, for 3+ quarters. On the other side, Dan Campbell is trying to prove to a fan base that he is the right guy. He is going to be the guy who turns this franchise around that hasn't had much success ever. And so, like as I said at the start, I think I opened it up. I don't know if I said it on the pod or if I said it to you before the show, Jason. This is what he meant by biting the kneecaps, is when they get knocked down, they're going to bite kneecaps. They're not going to give up just because they're down. And I think we saw that yesterday. I think that's what the last 2 minutes were. It was a team who came into Detroit and they showed what they needed to show. They did enough to go up 41-17 with 2 minutes left against a team who has a lot to prove, with a head coach who wants to prove he belongs in the NFL. So that's how I've explained the last 2 minutes to myself. And if that doesn't make sense, please tell me, Jason. I like it when people tell me I'm wrong because I can adapt and learn. But that's what I think the last 2 minutes were. It's just where these two franchises are. That's all.
Yeah, and all right, so let me play devil's advocate on the other side. And I want to shout out Jay Aguayo 56. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for pulling up, and we really appreciate that.
Jay Aguayo, that's how I was like Jaguayo? Like, I don't know. I didn't read it the right way. Thank you for doing that, Jason. I was going to say it. I didn't want to say it wrong.
No, we got it. All right, I'm going to play devil's advocate. And for a team that has been together for so long, and is a returning unit for the most part with very little new additions, the attention to the small stuff is the part that I get a little upset about. But again, it's week 1. It's week 1, right? Like, it is week 1. Not protecting the ball at the right moment. Not recovering the onside kick, no matter how weird that is. Not putting Fred Warner on TJ Hawkinson the entire game and just letting TJ Hawkinson run around free. Okay. I'm good. Okay.
We're 1-0. Niners are 1-0.
No, I dialed it back. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
For the people who believe that this team is a Super Bowl team because everybody's back, that wasn't exactly what you wanted to see right off the bat. You should have a handle on all the little stuff, in-game stuff, and when there's a team that you're blowing out that is as bad, like that's so. Look, if that's against the Packers and the 49ers are up 41-17 and Aaron Rodgers goes bang, bang, bang down the field and brings them right back, you say, hey, man, it's Aaron Rodgers. Can't we stop that, right? Like, there's nothing you could do about that. It's Jared Goff. It's Anthony Lynn. It's Dan Campbell. It's the Detroit Lions. That's the part that I kind of have problems with, the little stuff. the small stuff, because the small stuff, when the avalanche happens, doesn't stop, continues, right? And if there was a better team on the other side of the field on this game, 49ers probably don't win this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's it. I mean, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, and I absolutely agree. And I think I do think that it's week one, and they have things to work out, and that's okay. These things will happen. Because if we're applying this logic, are the Tennessee Titans a team we saw yesterday? No, they're going to be better than what they did yesterday, things like that. So there's time to work this out. Big Matt, yes, the 49ers still get the win, absolutely. Harvey Hughes, I'll tell you what happened to the Green Bay Packers. Jameis Winston happened to the Green Bay Packers. And with that, I would like to remind everybody before we make our 3-star picks that our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, the brand new Lawnmower 4.0, only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million men worldwide trust them, so join the movement with our exclusive offer by using the promo code SPRINTRIGHT at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. The world is starting to open, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help get you ready. Inside, you'll find the brand new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts. Jason and I's favorite, the Performance Boxer Briefs, and the Shed Travel Bag. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take your defense to the next level. This 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch that can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Even the Super Bowl's winning coach can enjoy a nice trim during the celebratory water bath. So once again, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code SPRINTRIGHT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code SPRINTRIGHT. Take your ball defense to the promised land with Manscaped. We see you, Don Burr. You are here. I am happy. And real quick, I want to I saw somebody had a question up here, and I didn't want to miss it. I believe, why does it feel like we're in trouble as soon as we're up 3 scores? Thomas Tyler asked that question, and I'm going to answer it honestly. I think in the back of every 49er fan with Kyle Shanahan is 28-3. I think that has to exist, and that's just what it is. Kyle Shanahan's a very good head coach, and I think if we're going to question anything about him, is his ability to close out games. Now, do I think yesterday had anything to do with bad play calls or bad decisions from Shanahan? No, sometimes things just happen and things get weird in the last 2 minutes. So I wouldn't worry about it yesterday with Shanahan. I just think things happen. Don Burr, I'm so happy you're here. Can you tell me if you're Dan Campbell, though? Can you please tell me you're Dan Campbell?
He's not. And look, Don, I want to say this to you. We weren't, again, we're not trying to rub your nose and anything like that. We literally enjoyed your presence this entire time, and we appreciate your passion. And again, your team put 33 points up on a defense that we consider that to be very good. And again, nothing but love, man. Again, the passion for this game should never go over the top where people are calling people names, anything like that, and I need to tell that to myself sometimes. But at the same time, we've enjoyed your presence on the streams. And good luck to the Lions the rest of the year, man. Yeah. For real. Honestly, seriously. No sort of condescension, anything like that. Respect, and you're a man of your word, and I'm glad that you're here, man. And I'd like for you to pop back in even when the Lions aren't playing the 49ers, if you're cool with that.
Hey, Don Burr, I just want you to say there is nothing more in this world than I would love I would love than the 2-0 San Francisco 49ers facing the 0-2 Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football in Week 3. So go do the damn thing. I'm hoping they beat the Packers. For Aaron Rodgers to lose to Jameis Winston and Jared Goff in back-to-back weeks would be fantastic, and I love it. But I guess that's what happens when a Jeopardy host is quarterback in the NFL. Jason Aponte, who's your third star of Week 1?
Hi, guys. I'm a guy who's still here. And that is pretty much where you need to know where I'm going with this. Mike McGlinchey was great in this game. I don't care what was on the other side. He was great. And this offensive line should get a whole star. But Mike McGlinchey was fine. You know how I know Mike McGlinchey was good? They didn't say his name once on the broadcast at all. And for every time that you roast him for missing a block against someone who he got bowled over by a cornerback, I don't see any of you guys saying, hey, Mike McGlinchey had a good game today. You need to keep it a buck, and be objective. Mike McGlinchey played a great game. Okay? Mike McGlinchey's my third star.
My third star, and that's a great third star. Claps for Jason. That's a great third star. I'm going to go split. I'm going to go Dee Ford and Eric Armstead. Honestly, and I'm not one to question PFF in any way. They had him down for 9 pressures, and if that's the case, that's phenomenal. I mean, we talked about him getting moved to the inside. He didn't do a lot of inside stuff yesterday. He was on the outside, and if he got 9 pressures, he got 9 pressures. This is what it is. I know he didn't get a sack, whatever it is, what it is. But this defensive line is good, and Eric Armstead is a very important part of it. And I just want to mention Dee Ford because, as I said earlier, he got the pressure that led to Dre Greenlaw's pick 6. And just seeing 55 on the field again, and seeing him make an impact like that. I know we're not going to see him every snap. We're probably not even going to see him on half the snaps. We're going to see him on probably 1 every 5 snaps. And if he can make an impact just like that and lead to a pick 6, that's a huge play for the Niners, because without that pick 6, maybe the Lions go down and score. You take 7 points away from the Niners, add 7 points to the Lions, and we're talking about a different game here. And the Niners are 0-1. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, I'm going to go the left side of the defensive line with Eric Armstead and Dee Ford. Jason, I'll even roll into my second star just because I know he's your first star, and I'll let you really talk about him. I'm going to go Deebo Samuel. He had a great game. He was needed because if we're going to, I'm going to believe Kyle Shanahan and what he said with Brandon Ayuk. He's hurt and they didn't feel great. Maybe he went out there for that punt return. Something didn't feel right. And Shanahan said, hey, we're not going to risk this. Why would we? So Deebo Samuel, my second star, for obvious reasons we stated earlier and reasons Jason's going to say here in a minute. Who's your second star?
Diamador Lenore. I
Yes.
mean, again, and me picking Dante Johnson to be this guy was little about what I wanted, and it was more about what I thought they would do, because obviously Kyle Shanahan has his tried and trusted guys, and we've talked about this. I don't need to belabor that point anymore. But man, 90 snaps for a rook, and for him to end up with those numbers and how many times he was targeted, the kid balled out, and if he can continue this, then he is going to be vital to what the 49ers want to do this year, especially considering the injury, the season-ending injury to Jason Verrett. I hate talking about Jason Verrett because it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
I feel for him in a big way, on top of the fact that this is a man who puts everything that he has into it, and his season is gone in one game. A guy who bet on himself this year, took less money to bet on himself and go back to and I don't want to, keep talking about that. But if Lenore can continue this play, continue the way that he's played in the preseason into the season, then the 49ers really struck gold, because it does not seem like Avery Thomas is ready for anything at all. Nothing. Not pass coverage, not kick returns. Nothing. And that was a way higher pick than it was with Lenore. But Demo is my number 2 star. What a game. Keep balling, Rook.
I am going to go with number 1 star. I'm going to go with a rookie too. I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell. He was the second back behind Mostert, and kind of the same thing. He got his chance to shine after a very unfortunate injury. Good thing with Mostert is he should be back at some point this season. They said 8 weeks, so is what it is. They're going to get
Jeff Wilson will be back.
They're going to get Mostert and Wilson back. first career game, man, 19 rushes, 104 yards. That's 5.5 yards per carry. He gets the big touchdown, the 39-yard touchdown that just like we're so used to the Niners getting with their running game, blowing past the defensive line and just skating into the end zone almost. Elijah Mitchell looked really, really good yesterday. And it just goes into it. I don't care who the running back is, man. He's going to be good in a Kyle Shanahan offense. And Elijah Mitchell was the guy who benefited from the best offensive mind in the league. And hopefully it continues because they're going to need it. Him and Sermon, the Niners now have a rookie backfield. It is what it is. We're going to see what Kyle Shanahan, this is the ultimate, what can Kyle Shanahan do? And I feel really damn good about what Elijah Mitchell showed yesterday, and we'll see if it continues. I have no reason to believe it won't. Jason, I don't know who your first star is. Can you surprise me with who your first star is?
Deebo Samuel, thank you for shutting me up. Thank you for listening to everything that, taking all that stuff and putting it on your bulletin board. You are absolutely incredible right now. You continue to do what you did while I was at camp viewing you. It didn't matter who was on you. Yes, Jason Verrett. Yes, anybody that you want to name on this team. Deebo Samuel was winning those routes. Deebo Samuel was on a mission, and he is balling. What a game. Incredible, man. I am so happy for him because you can tell that he was perturbed by what he heard about himself, and he worked on it, and he won routes downfield. He, that run after the catch stuff, that's the stuff that we already know. But when you hear Deebo Samuel in press conferences in the offseason say, I'm working on stuff downfield, I am working on being better at my craft, he really did. And I don't care who's on the other side. You're going to have a tough time covering Deebo Samuel this year because he's on a mission. And I am so happy that he is doing what he's doing because now people can start to put to bed, they should have took this guy. They should have took this guy. If he can continue this and he plays for 17 games, I don't see why he's not the leading receiver on this team. That was my bold prediction on our last episode.
Yep.
And he's off to a great start right now.
Off to a very good start. So Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, the first star of the game for Jason and I. For game one, I sent the shirts out yesterday, but FedEx told me it got lost already. That's unfortunate. Your shirts probably won't come at this point. I apologize. Jason, since I saw somebody ask earlier, let's real quick because you are the football mind here. You're the big gun. Say some words about Dre Kirkpatrick, the newest member of the San Francisco 49ers.
Realistically, I just see him as depth. Somebody who in a pinch can play, but I don't think the ideal scenario is for him to start. Anybody who believes that Dre Kirkpatrick is here to start, I don't believe that at all. And you know what? I will double down on my Dante Johnson take and say that Dante Johnson will be up before him if there was any sort of pinch. Right now, I think the ideal scenario for this team is going to be Emmanuel Mosley and Demo on the other side with Josh Norman right there. After that, then it's Dante Johnson. And then after that, it might be Dre Kirkpatrick. If you look at his time in the NFC West, he has a lot of experience here. Makes sense to sign him. He's a veteran. I get it. Completely get it. But he kind of got cooked by Seattle. Kind of got cooked by other teams. So depth guy, almost like a break in case of emergency in glass, like type thing. So, fine signing. Get it. Expect Richard Sherman later in the year, I would guess. But as of right now, you need bodies just in case. Because Josh Norman wasn't signed to the practice squad. Josh Norman signed to the 53. So he's going to be on the roster every single week. So, again, I'm no problem with them insulating themselves because as of right now, depth is wealth. And that's probably the best that you could do right now at this point, considering who's out there as a cornerback. There
we go. So I forget who it was. I apologize. There's your Dre Kirkpatrick talk. Just good note, guys, on the team. Jason, we'll be back on Friday. We'll preview,
and I'll be in Philly.
You'll be in Philly. I'll be in Sacramento, which is the Philadelphia of California. Some say. I just said that. I don't know if that's true.
I was going to say, is that true?
As somebody who's never been to Philadelphia, I don't know. Status on E-Man. I think I read they're hoping he plays Sunday. Still not sure.
Yeah, coach says that he's back next week, hopefully. So we'll see.
But yeah, man, hey, if you guys like this podcast, I like it. It's probably my favorite podcast. It's the one I talk on. Tell your friends, man. Send them this link. Say, hey, you guys want to hear two guys talk about football and have fun and knowledge and get things right all the time,
And
because we're always right on this podcast.
And one guy have an immaculate beard, and another guy have a beard that's like trying to come along.
Oh man, I forgot my bold prediction. My next bold prediction from Friday. If the Niners, and I'm throwing it out there now, Niners win the Super Bowl, I'll shave the beard. So
Whoa!
For the players watching, there's your motivation. I will shave the like not even trim it. I will go like you will see my face skin. Tony, we appreciate you, man. You've been a day one as well. Thank you for the donation. But yeah, tell your friends about this podcast. Tell them we go live every Monday and Friday. Tell
Mahalo,
them
Tony. You're the man.
I love you, Tony. I saw you on the club. We're bringing Clubhouse back, by the way.
Oh, Clubhouse, we're going to try to bring it back single-handedly. So
we're going to try and bring it back. Jason and I were talking about just doing a quick Sunday night thing every Sunday, just talking about the games that happen, free flow, all that stuff. But hey, man, share the live channel. If your friends say, hey, I'm busy on Mondays and Fridays at 5:30, I don't want to listen to these two guys talk. Say, well, good news. You can listen to the recording of the live show on Spotify and or Apple or wherever you get your podcast. Just search Sprint Red Ocean, man. We Jason and I love this thing. We started it last year. We see Kyle here. Kyle's a big part of why this thing started. We didn't expect it to get this big. And now that we're here, let's just keep the momentum rolling. The season's here. So be sure to subscribe and like every video you see on Jason Aponte's YouTube channel, because he does everything. He is the, dare I say, the idea of Jalen Hurd of YouTube. He does a little bit of everything.
What on earth? Then you know what? I really wish that we could find the Terry McLaurin of YouTube then and have him in my place then, if that's the case, if I happen to be Jalen Hurd.
But no, for real. He does a little bit of everything. He gets a lot of dope people on this channel. He does a lot of other things. So don't download his. You would download his YouTube channel if you can. Subscribe.
Like the video.
Turn on notifications.
Subscribe. It helps.
All
yes,
the fun
all
things. And then if you like this podcast specifically, and you can't listen to the live shows, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, all the places you get your podcasts at. So go do that. Share it with your friends though. Text your friend and be like, hey, family member, listen to this podcast. They're pretty cool, and follow them on Twitter. That's just a shameless plug because Jason has like 5,000 more followers than me. Follow Pasquini Andrew on Twitter. Don't follow Jason Aponte 2103. He has enough followers. He's getting too big headed. Calm him down a little bit. I'm just kind of rambling. Ski bop, de boop bop. Jason Aponte as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. 1-0, baby. Don't let Twitter tell you otherwise.
That's it. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.